Alright, my name is Will Davis and I'm doing my presentation on Kohlberg's theory of moral development. This is just a picture of Kohlberg himself. Who is Lawrence Kohlberg? He was a Harvard professor back in 1970, during the 70s. He started out as a developmental psychologist and then moved to the field of moral education, and he is known for his theory of moral development, which is what I will be talking about today. What is Kohlberg's theory? Swiss psychologist Jean Piaget first developed this theory, and Kohlberg adapted it from him. So Kohlberg wasn't the first one to develop it. He more along the lines of adapted it and developed it more than what Piaget did. He believed that and was able to demonstrate through studies that people progress in their moral reasoning through a series of stages. He believed there were 6 identifiable stages which could be more generally classified into 3 levels. And I will show you on this slide, this is what his model looked like. These are the levels and stages. Pre-conventional was the first stage, and that is avoidance, which is the first level, And then the stages are stages 1, avoidance of punishment, stage 2, exchange of favors, okay? And then you'll see, I'll go into the age range when you see that and some examples later on. And then the conventional stage was stages 3 and 4. This particular one says good child and law and order. And then we have our post-conventional stages, which are stages 5 and 6, and that's social contract and universal ethical discipline. Okay, so there's a couple different ones you can see if you look it up, but this is the one that I just chose. And the first one is the pre-conventional. Okay, this is level 1, stages 1 and 2. And pre-conventional, it just judges morality of actions by consequences. So this would be seen more along in the lines of younger children. And stage 1 says you see this in kids ages 1 to 5. And it says that they behave based on socially acceptable norms because they are told to do something by an authority figure. They behave because of the threat of punishment. If you've seen elementary school children, they don't like to be punished. So if you put yourself in their mind and I'm an elementary school kid and I see a toy that I want, okay, but somebody else is using it, and the teacher said, don't take something that's not yours, and you really want it, but then you think, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to take the toy. Okay, so that's just basically what this first one, stage 1, is saying. And then stage 2 is found in ages 5 to 10. Okay, so still along the lines of elementary school kids, and kids acting in a way that best interests themselves. Kids will say they were right because they needed it really bad. So this kind of goes along the lines of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So if you have, somebody that wants something and you have something that they need, so you can maybe trade. If you're at lunch, you have milk, okay, and they have a piece of cake. You could say, I'll trade you my piece of cake for your milk, okay? So that way you get what you want, okay? You're not worried about if he wanted his milk. You just wanted his milk, so that's more along in the best interest of yourself. You're not worried about what the other person wants. And now we're in the conventional stages, levels 2 and 3. And in those stages, this is the based on what society views and expects. So you're going to find in these stages some elementary school students, but mainly middle and high school age kids. And they just want to follow the rules. That's what society expects of them. And in this stage 3, okay, we'll have actions that are based on their societal role and try to fit in or just to be nice. So, of course, we see this all the time because I teach middle school. Kids always just want to try and fit in. So if you have somebody that, there's many examples, the one that I'll use is that if you have a student that is trying to be one of the best academically, and if they say, okay, I really don't want to fail this math test, if I don't, my friends will think that I'm not that smart, so then therefore I will think that I am not that smart. Okay, if you pass that math test and then he feel like he would fit in with the others, okay, at the top of his class, so then he would feel good about himself. But they just trying to fit in stage 3. Stage 4, okay, occurs in high school students, some middle school, and respect authority, follow rules, and do what is right. Another example would that be if you have a high school student that doesn't agree with something. Kids these days, they like to protest about anything. Okay, so if they disagree with something, they're going to go and ask permission to, for example, protest on campus. They're just not going to go and do it without permission. They want to follow the rules that were set forth. They do not want to break them. This is what stage 4 is talking about. And then the last stage, this is post-conventional, level 3, stages 5 and 6. This stage, these individuals, these college students and high school students are now growing, and they realize that they are different from society. So their actions will be something more that what they believe in. And then stage 5, it says kids will look at the situation, gather opinions and values of others, and make their decision on what to do. Example of this would be politics. Okay, if they have a politician, okay, that they like, okay, they will gather the opinions of others, okay, and figure out which ones they like. Okay, then they will make a decision on who they would support in their who they would vote for. Okay, so they're just kind of gathering information from everybody else, and then they'll make their own decision. Okay, and the last stage, stage 6, is when they look at the universal principle of what is right and wrong. Their judgment might become innate because they will develop their own principles, and those might be wrong or even against the law. And this is seen mainly in college students. So this is kind of where they become, okay, I'm not like society, so I'm going to not do what society says because I don't believe in it. If you have an example of that would be if there was a law that even though it's a law, they don't believe in the law, they will break the law because they do not believe in it. That's not what morally is right to them. Okay? And those were all the stages. So we had pre-conventional level 1, stages 1 and 2, conventional level, which is level 2, stages 3 and 4, and then post-conventional level 3, stages 5 and 6. And then with this theory, there has been some criticisms of it. And says that they may not occur automatically in stages, but there are other factors involved. Development may be more related to the rewarding and punishment for a child's behavior. Of course, we see that if you have a child that is being punished, they know that it is wrong, so therefore they're not going to do it. And if they are rewarded for a behavior, then they know that's right, so then they will do it. And then we have the home environment may be more closely related to more development than a natural progression. As us as teachers, we all see that where our kids come from and what the stuff that they see at home, they might not be morally right. And as they progress, then through their age, their morals might be different from what somebody else in a different home would be. And then the last one, in my opinion, is the one the biggest problem that I have is that Kohlberg was very biased against women, did not use women in his studies. And if you know anything about collecting data and doing research and experiments, is that whenever you have a sample size, it needs to be fair and balanced. And Kohlberg only used men, okay? And obviously there's differences in men and women make decisions based on caring and personal relationships, where men will make decisions based on justice and equality. So your moral decisions there in his theory if you added women to it, their decisions might be different than what men were. And that makes his theory, his findings, kind of one-sided. And a discussion question is, can you see this theory and what it says with your students in your classroom? So if you have what it is your students, can you see what he was talking about in your students, whether or not it's elementary school students and how they're scared of punishment, or high school students and how they want to conform to the rules. And if there are, can you give some specific examples of decision making I've seen that relates to one of the stages? And that is my presentation on Kohlberg's theory of development.